All right, New York Jet fans, it is Friday, October 24th, 2025, and we got to discuss the latest New York Jets news. The Jets made a roster move today. Yes, they did, but it wasn't something anybody was expecting, and it's not going to be too exciting. Nonetheless, the Jets claimed linebacker Kobe King off waivers from the Minnesota Vikings. Who is Kobe King? Well, he's been mostly a special teamer this year, does have some experience. He was just drafted in the 2025 draft in the 6th round. So my idea with this, where this is coming from, I think that Muji and AG probably like this player coming out of the draft. We didn't have any 6th, 7th round picks this year. And they probably thought, boy, I wish we could get this guy. So once they saw him on the waiver wire, they went ahead and picked him up. So he was projected to go in the 6th round. He's not some awesome linebacker. Obviously, teams don't let those guys go very often. So he'll be a special teamer for us, and let's see if he can develop. But my thinking is the reason they did this, we don't really have a need for a linebacker that much. But I think that Muji and AG said, hey, if we had a 6th round pick, we would have taken Kobe King. So, he's out of Penn State, so we got a lot of, we could go to Olu for some intel there. Right. And so I think that's what it was. If we had a 6th round pick, we probably would have taken Kobe King. They saw him on the waiver wire. They were like, perfect. We can pick him up. Now, with Quincy coming back, we're going to need an extra roster spot. Now, it's not 100% sure that Quincy comes back. So speaking about the injury report, Quincy is still listed as questionable, even though he was full FP this whole week. Michael Carter, Jermaine Johnson, Quantez Stiggers, they're good to go. They'll be available in the game. But Williams has to come off of IR. We haven't taken him officially off of IR yet. So it's possible he sits out this game because he's just questionable. The thinking of everybody, including all the beat writers and everything else, is that Quincy's coming back this week. But they could hold him out another week, and then we wouldn't need another roster spot. Kobe King, when you claim somebody off of waivers, you have to put them on your 53. You cannot put them on the practice squad. So once we released Asa Poll, we thought that was for Quincy. Maybe we use that spot for King, and maybe Quincy's not ready to go. So we'll have to see who we call up tomorrow and who, what if we make the roster move for IR, from IR for Quincy. If we do, then we need to drop somebody else. So we'll have to see. Tyrod also questionable. He'll probably play. Mason went from Mason Taylor went from DNP to LP, so that's good. He looks good, like he's good to go. Josh Reynolds popped up on the injury report as DNP on Friday again, so we'll have to see about him. Breece Hall went from LP to FP, so he's looking good to go. And the people who are out, Ahmad Gardner, Cam Jones, Kene Nwangwu, Stone Smart, and of course Garrett. So that's the injury report for Sunday. We'll see about this Kobe King fella. He'll be a special teamer for sure. We'll see if we make another roster move or if that just means Quincy's going to miss another game. It could be. And then we have the bye, so we'll have to see about that. Now, the other thing is that Aaron Glenn did not reveal the starting quarterback. We do not know who the starting quarterback is going to be. And the other thing about all this is how the media is portraying him. So the lesson here is that if you are going to take a combative tone with the media, which is authentic for AG, it's not a ploy or anything like that. How do I know that? That's how he was in Detroit as the DC. He could be prickly at times. And I saw many of his press conferences when he was with Detroit, and I said, I'm not sure how that's going to relate, how that's going to work in New York, especially if you don't get off to a good start. So the Jets are 0-7, as we know. If we were 4-3 or 3-4 right now, or something like that, where things were looking, much better, the media would portray anything he does in a much better light. And that's the thing to really keep in mind with the media. Because we're 0-7, and because the media knows the fans really don't have AG's back right now, for the most part, they can take anything he does and put it in the most negative light possible, and that's better for their clickety-clicks, right? So Rich Cimini says, Glenn won't name quarterback, gets testy. He got testy when questioned about QB decisions. You could say he's being cagey. That's more neutral. You could say he's getting Machiavellian. You could say he's being a mastermind with these things. Like you can be neutral about it, you can be positive, or you can be super negative. And because we're 0-7, and because of the way he's treated the media, directly confronting them multiple times, like, what kind of a question is that? That's a direct confrontation, not only to that person who was Brian Costello, who we all know is a shithead. I mean, we all know that. He's basically, why does he even have the job? He hates his job. I mean, what is he even doing? Just retire already. But that's not the point. The point is the media is going to be the media. And if you're going to challenge them like that, you better bring results. Because if you don't, it's like I keep saying, you don't pick fights with people who buy ink by the barrel. And these people, and the other thing is they all stick up for each other. So not only are you fighting Kaz, you're fighting everybody because they are supposed to be in our society the authority figures. If you challenge their authority, they will eventually kill you. And it might be death by 1,000 cuts. And it might be just changing words here. And it might be, they have a million different ways to attack you. And you don't have all those ways. You're trying to coach a football team. This is all they do. So yeah, you might get a good one-liner off against Brian Costello. Is it really worth it? And I would say no. Best thing to do is be amiable and say nothing and use all the cliches. But these coaches don't want to do that for some reason. The cliches are there for your use. I mean, that's what they're there for. God invented these cliches so that you can use them with these assholes in the media. Because one of the things to keep in mind is, look, you could hate the media. We all hate the media. It's a big problem in our country, but we're not going to change it. No matter how much I rail against them, it's not changing their business model. These are global companies. ESPN, Dick Chimney works for the Walt Disney Company, which is a global company. He's not changing what he does. He's being told what to do by his bosses, and he does it very well, and he gets paid handsomely. So he's not going to change. Doesn't matter how much criticism we throw at them. So you just have to accept this is how they are, and then adapt a strategy to deal with it, as I keep saying. But nobody listens. You're also seeing, just on a side note, you're also seeing this big story about the NBA and gambling and all this stuff. I just want to remind you, who the hell told you about that on the Green Bean live stream? This guy right here. For those of you who were on the Green Bean live stream when that came up, people were challenging me. I was saying, Michael Jordan, the league kind of tilted itself toward making him the king of the league, the face of the league. People wanted to challenge me on that. Now you're seeing similar things about LeBron James and this one and that one, and you're going to see more and more coming out. And this all started way back in the day. This is not new. This has been going on a long time. Started way back in the day when the commissioner, after Bird and Magic, it all started with Bird and Magic. Bird and Magic were beautiful, terrific. That era of basketball is probably the best era ever if you're just like a pure basketball fan. But the commissioner, whose name escapes my brain at the moment, I can see his face. But anyway, the commissioner took the lesson from that era that we need superstars. The league is built on superstars, not beautiful basketball, which it really was. He took the wrong lesson, in my opinion. But then again, the NBA succeeded. So then he said, well, Magic and Bird are retiring. What are we going to do? And it was like, well, Michael Jordan. We have this guy. He's amazing. He's Air Jordan. He's incredible. Everybody loves watching him. And they tilted the league and they changed rules and they did everything in their power to make sure that guy was who he was. Now, does that mean Michael Jordan actually stunk? No, Michael Jordan was great. He was amazing to watch. Incredible athlete and incredible at basketball. But the league helped him because he was the face of the league. I want to be like Mike. Remember that? They put this man in movies, for God's sake. Anyways, and people, and now you're seeing, like, here's the other thing about it. I'll get off this in a second, but I guess got to mention this. Michael Jordan's father died, unfortunately, tragically, in basically a mob hit. If you think about it, go back and read up about it. He was in his car. It was basically a mob hit. Why do you think that happened? And now you're seeing in this news that's coming out now, all about the mob being involved in cards and this and that. It's all mob related. They busted the 5 families, for God's sakes. So These things are related. It's not. Anyway, that's a topic for another day. Anyway, it's Friday. And so we'll see how we do. We'll see about this Kobe King. We'll see about the roster moves. We'll see if we can get a win on Sunday. So I will see you at 10 a.m. on Sunday morning. Coffee with Frankie, but then I will not be on the Green Bean channel. I got stuff to do in the afternoon. So I can't exactly be on the Green Bean channel. So I won't see you live for the watch party. But 10 a.m., we'll see what's going on. We'll see who's inactive. We'll talk about the news of the day. 10 a.m., Sunday morning, Coffee with Frankie. You know that's the place to be. You know it. Because if you want to know what's going to happen 6 months down the road, you listen to old Frankie right now. That's how you do it. All right. See you later.